Break the silence!
More than 400 people walked at Cal State Northridge to end domestic abuse and sexual violence against women.
Words cannot express how much we will miss her.
A second student has died from injuries after shootings at a Washington State school that injured several others.
It definitely will affect the community.
A popular farm center at Pierce College will be closing because the school says it can no longer afford it.
This is Valley View News.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Mahina Haina.
And I'm Courtney Faust.
One of 4 students injured during a shooting at a Washington high school has died, bringing the death toll to 2. Zoe Galasso died at the scene. 14-year-old Gia Soriano had head injuries and died. Authorities say Jalen Freiberg opened fire in the lunchroom. 2 of his victims were his cousins. They remained hospitalized along with 1 other girl. Students, parents, and school leaders met inside the gym at the high school to mourn.
Gia is our beautiful daughter, and words cannot express how much we will miss her.
A law enforcement source says Freiberg pulled a gun out of a black backpack before he began firing. Teacher Megan Silberberger ran towards the shooter and grabbed his arm. Freiberg had trouble reloading the gun when the teacher ran to stop him. The gunman then shot and killed himself.
A nurse recently quarantined in New Jersey is going to return home to Maine. Casey Hickox had returned from treating Ebola patients in West Africa. She was quarantined in New Jersey and criticized health officials over how she was treated. She was kept in an isolated tent with a portable toilet but no shower. Hickox called her treatment inhumane and criticized Governor Chris Christie for saying she was ill when she displayed no symptoms of Ebola. Christie said he expects her to be transferred home after doctors signed off on the plan. The details of the transfer and the protocol she will follow in Maine are yet to be determined.
11 members of U.S. military, including Army Major General, are being monitored for symptoms of the Ebola virus. They are members of the U.S. Army African Force that is helping battle Ebola in West Africa. The personnel are being held for 21 days for monitoring in Italy. U.S. officials say there is no indication that any of the team members have symptoms of Ebola. It is not clear yet if the personnel will be allowed visits during the monitoring.
The captain of a South Korean ferry that sank in April has been given the death penalty. The chief prosecutor said the captain did nothing to help rescue his passengers. 3 of the 15 crew members received life imprisonment. The rest faced 15 to 30 years for accidental homicide, criminal negligence, and other charges. Prosecutors say the ferry was carrying twice as much cargo as legally allowed and was not properly secured. Investigators say the ship began to tilt during a sharp turn that caused the heavy cargo to come loose. More than 300 people were killed.
The terrorist group Boko Haram has kidnapped at least 30 Nigerian children. The boys and girls were taken from Borno State during the attack, where at least 17 people were killed. Kidnappings and killings continue despite claims of a truce. Human Rights Watch says the group has taken more than 500 women and girls hostage since 2009. It also says Nigerian authorities failed to investigate the abduction of more than 200 schoolgirls 6 months ago.
South African track star Oscar Pistorius may face another trial on charges he killed his girlfriend. Prosecutors said they plan to appeal the conviction and sentence given to Pistorius after his 7-month trial. Pistorius was convicted of manslaughter, not the more serious charge of murder. Under the terms of his current sentence, he may be released from jail after 10 months.
California's temperatures are cooling down, but the state is still in the middle of one of the longest droughts in its history.
Let's go to our Studio B, where Eric Roberts has more on California's drought and water supply.
Thanks. I'm here with Dr. Emily Orm, Professor of Geography here at CSUN. Thanks for being here. So in recent months, one of the major issues here in California has been the drought and the water issues prevalent to the area and the statewide. Could you maybe go over exactly what's going on with the water levels here and why exactly it's such a major issue?
Water is an issue in California right now because we are entering our 3rd year of below average rainfall. And it's critical that we have at least average, or if not above average, rainfall in the form of snow in the Sierra Nevada, which in fact provides much of the water for the state. The way the state water system is arranged, we have snowfall, and presumably we have then runoff during the spring. And the runoff is then captured in a series of canals and reservoirs and aqueducts, where it's moved both across the state from east to west, as well as being moved from north to south. And this is what is so critical right now, is that we don't actually have the water base in which to transport water to the places where it's needed.
Okay, you mentioned to me earlier that you were actually in the Sierra Nevada recently taking some measurements, recording the actual water levels currently, what that state of California has. Could you possibly go into detail about what exactly you found while you were out there?
Recently I was in the eastern Sierra Nevada in the Owens River Basin, and the Owens River Basin is the major contributor for water in the Los Angeles area. This is for the Los Angeles Aqueduct, which is over a century old. And therefore we are dependent upon water actually from the runoff into the Owens River and then being transported to Southern California. When I was in the Owens River with one of my classes, we were measuring water levels, and in fact the levels of the upper Owens River are critically low now, and probably lower than what we have seen in well over a decade.
Okay, this isn't California's first drought, but people are saying this is one of the driest periods in the states since the state started recording rainfall and all that. Could you possibly let us know why exactly this drought is so much different than droughts in the past, and why it's affecting the state at such more severity?
The current California drought is having a much greater impact than the droughts that we have seen in the past. And we have to bear in mind that we have seen droughts on the order of a decade, 2 decades, or even as much as multiple decades long. But before we had such a large population and before we had major agriculture invested in the state, what is critical this time is that in part agriculture depends on water being brought in and transported to what are essentially dry areas. And the second part of it is, of course, with major urban areas and population centers dependent on water, with the bulk of them concentrated in the southern part of the state, which is where we have less water. Actually moving the water here in times of drought becomes a pretty major issue.
Okay, a lot of people that are reporting on it that have been monitoring the issue, they say that this drought could go on for much longer into the foreseeable future, maybe even a year or 2 more. Could you possibly talk to us about why that might happen and whether or not you think that is a likely outcome to the current situation we're in?
The length of the drought is still unknown at this stage, and we have to put this into the bigger picture. We may have 2 or 3 years of below average rainfall and then have several years of average to above average. But in the bigger picture, in fact, the latter part of the 20th century, the early part of this century, we've seen increasing numbers of dry years. Whether this drought will continue on for a decade or more, there's a recent study out from Cornell University and the University of Arizona which suggests that in fact we have more than an 80% chance of the drought extending into several decades long.
With the situation the state's in, people are constantly wondering what they can do to save water. So what exactly is some of the big things people can do to really help the situation California is in and really conserve some water?
People can save water on a very individual basis, and it's very clear that by not watering our lawns or developing lawns, by putting in water-tolerant plants or even just total xeriscaping will help. It'll also help in terms of, on a personal level, reducing your shower time, and then recycling water, whether it's through rain barrels or investing in gray water, which can be recycled for non-drinking purposes.
Okay. Again, I just want to thank you for taking the time out to come out over here and talk to us about the drought. I want to toss it back to you guys. Thanks.
Venice residents waited until early this week to find out if their belongings survived a fire at a storage unit. Authorities say about 1/3 of the building suffered heavy damage. Many residents were saddened by the loss of personal items that can never be replaced. An artist said he may have lost much of his own work and some paintings from others that he had stored there. 8 firefighters suffered minor burns and heat exhaustion. Fire officials say the blaze was difficult to control because the metal roof of the storage unit complicated the firefighting efforts.
This may be the last year for a popular Halloween harvest festival at Pierce College. Valley View News reporter Lauren Llanos has more.
After 10 years of operation, administrators at Pierce College have issued a statement that the decision to evict the popular Pierce College Farm Center was final. Robert McBroom, who runs the farm center with his wife Kathy, has been left to either fight to save the farm center or find a new property to call home.
It's depressing that it got into a situation where You know, we just walked into someone shoving a piece of paper in my chest and saying, do you know how much this property's worth? And like we were squatters.
McBroom says that Pierce College has gone through 5 administrators in the last 10 years, and they have all had different plans for the 18-acre farm center that rests among the 226 acres of Pierce farmland. In a mediation agreement, college administrators say they can no longer financially support the venue. However, McBroom says the farm center hasn't actually cost the college anything.
The Pierce Farm Center is completely 100% sustainable, not only agriculturally, but financially. And to date, I have yet to find out what the college is saying that they are no longer can afford. Because in that road, give us the bill, let us pay for it.
Many Valley residents have been under the impression that the Pierce farm is also being shut down. However, as of now, that isn't the case. The farm has no connection to the privately run farm center, but farm workers say it has been in danger of being closed down in the past and maybe next to go, as property around the college is highly sought after and valuable. This farm actually serves as a learning environment for students in agriculture and pre-veterinary studies. Community members and workers alike say that there isn't a place in the valley like the farm center, especially during Halloween time.
Well, I just think it's a great place for families to come and bring their kids. So if they don't have it next year or the years to come, I mean, that excitement and the fall excitement for families is kind of over. So it definitely will affect the community.
Valley View News has reached out to the president of Pierce College asking for a statement regarding the recent eviction. So far, she has yet to return any of our calls. As of now, the Pierce College Farm Center is set to close the day after Christmas. However, community activists remain hopeful that a Board of Trustees meeting held on November 5th may just turn things around. In Woodland Hills, I'm Lauren Llanos for Valley View News.
Cal State Northridge has ordered its fraternities and sororities to stop all their recruitment and pledging activities. Campus leaders said that Pi Kappa Alpha fraternity is under investigation for possible hazing. It's the second hazing investigation at CSUN this year. In July, pledge Armando Villa died during a mandatory hike with another fraternity, Pi Kappa Phi. Campus spokeswoman Carmen Ramos Chandler says a courageous pledge stepped forward in the newest case. CSUN students feel the incident affects their Greek experience.
2 Fridays ago, a pledge came forward very courageously. I understand the peer pressure must have been quite tremendous to report what he felt were questionable activities involving the pledge class. And he came forward to an administrator. An investigation was immediately launched. Other pledges have been talked to, and they corroborate his statements.
I feel like the Greek system is spiraling down a little bit, and it's unfortunate that any of this activity is happening. It would hurt everyone, not just that one fraternity. It hurts everybody in the Greek system.
The Greek organizations will be allowed to recruit new members but must suspend pledge activities until the ban is lifted. CSUN sorority member Marissa Maycott says they are not allowed to discuss the matter. Armando Villa's family welcomed the halt on pledge activities.
Coming up next in sports, the World Series between the Royals and the Giants.
And we'll look at the future of the Lakers' injured point guard Steve Nash.
Mommy, I don't feel so well.
Okay, so you wouldn't give yourself or your loved one poison, would you? Then why would you take or give counterfeit medications that may contain the wrong or no active ingredient? Counterfeit medications are out there. They can be ineffective and harmful to your health. Be a smart consumer and know your pharmacy, especially if you're purchasing medication online.
No more pencils, no more books.
No more teachers, dirty looks.
School's out for summer.
What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%.
To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org, because great things happen when we live united.
You guys going to my party on Friday?
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be crazy.
All right. What's up, dude?
I'm loving your jacket.
Don't be such a fag.
If you don't mean it, why say it? Words hurt. Think before you speak.
Now let's go to sports with Marceline.
Now let's talk football. In the NFC, the Arizona Cardinals held off a late drive by the Philadelphia Eagles and won 24-20. It was a statement game for the Cardinals, who have a commanding lead in the NFC West. Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints crushed Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers at the Superdome 44-23. The Cincinnati Bengals squeezed out a close one, defeating their AFC North Division rival Baltimore Ravens 27-24. And Tom Brady still got it. The New England Patriots destroyed the Chicago Bears 51-23. But the performance of the weekend goes to Ben Roethlisberger of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He became the first NFL quarterback to throw over 500 yards in 2 separate games. The Steelers beat the Colts 51-34. Right now, it's looking like the Broncos, Cowboys, and Cardinals are the teams to beat. The San Francisco Giant pulled off a huge win in Game 5 of the World Series with some history by Madison Bumgarner. The Giants' ace shut out the Kansas City Royals 5-0. It's the first World Series shutout since 2003. Bumgarner threw 84 strikes out of 117 pitches as he led his team to victory. The win gave San Francisco a 3-2 series lead and 1 win away from taking it all. If they win Game 6, it'll be their 3rd World Series crown in 5 years. The only other team to do that was the St. Louis Cardinals back in the 1940s. St. Louis Cardinals outfielder Oscar Taveras has died in a car crash along with his girlfriend Adelia Arvelo. The accident happened when Taveras was driving near his hometown in the Dominican Republic. Police are still investigating the scene and say that the heavy rainfall might have caused the accident. Taveras made his MLB debut this season with the Cardinals as a part-time outfielder. He was 22 years old. Steve Ballmer may score $1 billion tax break from his purchase of the Los Angeles Clippers. The Financial Times reports that the billionaire could write off as much as half the purchase price in taxes by 2030. The former Microsoft CEO paid $2 billion to buy the NBA franchise from Donald Sterling. Ballmer says the Clippers are a wise investment, even though he paid 4 times more than anyone has ever paid for an NBA team. Future Hall of Famer Steve Nash has played the final game of his decorated NBA career. The former 2-time NBA Most Valuable Player will miss the entire NBA season. He's been struggling with ongoing nerve pain in his back for 2 years. The 40-year-old point guard is in the final year of his contract with the LA Lakers. Nash's latest problems stem from a knee injury he suffered at the beginning of the 2012-2013 NBA season after colliding with Portland Trailblazer point guard Damian Lillard. Steve Nash is the 3rd all-time NBA assist leader. Los Angeles center Anze Kopitar has suffered what the team is calling an upper body injury. Kopitar left last week's game against the Blue Jackets in the 3rd period. Kopitar will join Trevor Lewis and Marion Gaborik in the team's injured reserve list. The Kings went on to beat Columbus 5-2. With that win, the Kings set a new club record. Hundreds of people marched at CSUN wearing some pretty uncomfortable shoes. They were high heels, spike heels to be exact. Valley View's Lauren Bennett reports that the shoes were supposed to be awkward to prove a point about violence against women.
Get up! Get down! There's a movement in this town! End the violence! Break the silence! End the violence! Stop the violence! Stop the rape!
This is the first time that I've spoken publicly since I was sexually assaulted in 2010.
Over 400 participated in the Mile March for Sexual Assault and Domestic Violence. Men put on their heels and strutted their stuff during the walk to raise awareness. All ages and gender took part in this event for loved ones who have been affected by this.
Men, women, and children all literally walked a mile in her shoes today.
We're here in support of the family of Maria Inez Morales because in a domestic violence issue with her husband, she lost her life.
I think it's awesome to see these gentlemen out there to understand what women go through.
When the participants reached the finish line, they felt quite accomplished, especially the men.
The walk was hard, but we have to try at least to even understand a woman for one day in their lives. You know, we have to actually feel what they feel and what they go through every day, because we all want to see a woman in high heels, but do we actually even know how they feel?
Not only was this walk for domestic abuse, but it also raises sexual assault awareness on college campuses like the CSUN organization Strength United.
Particularly today, given the concern about rape and sexual assault on university campuses, that CSUN make a stand. We have an organization that serves the community, that helps people who have been raped and sexually assaulted, and also we do a lot of work in prevention.
People in this march probably ended their day with sore feet. But next time they put on their own shoes, they will remember how it was to walk in someone else's. In Northridge, Lauren Bennett, Valley View News.
It is tough to walk in heels, especially for a mile, and those men were walking pretty well. That's all for sports. Back to you.
Coming up next in business news, find out which stores are not going to accept Apple's new mobile wallet.
And we'll see what Microsoft is saying about paying workers equally.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
It's a beautiful day out here, sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it, let's go.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course.
Now let's go to Daisy with business. So what's going on with Apple Pay?
Well, Rite Aid and CVS pharmacies say they will not accept Apple's new mobile wallet, known as Apple Pay. The new digital wallet software can be loaded into Apple devices like iPhones and iPads. Shoppers can then use the devices like a digital credit card. Both the pharmacy chains have not said why they are not allowing the mobile wallet to be used in their stores. Apple Pay worked unofficially at CVS and Rite Aid stores for a short time, but the two retail companies disabled it. Apple has sold over 39 million of its new iPhones since the release on September 19th. Apple surpassed last year's sales of 33 million. That's an increase of 16%. iPhone continues to be Apple's best-selling product ahead of both the iPad and MacBook. Apple's fourth quarter results revealed that iPod sales have continued to decrease. The Apple TV and upcoming Apple Watch are expected to go on sale early next year. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella says that women at Microsoft are paid equally for performing the same work as men. Microsoft says it examined records from its Human Resources Department and found no disparity. Nadella says Microsoft still has a long way to go in equal treatment of women and men. He says women in many industries do not occupy senior leadership roles. Only 3 of Microsoft's 15 senior leaders are women. Microsoft is reportedly the most male-dominant company among the major tech firms. Painting, music, and more have made an appearance in downtown Los Angeles. Several times a month, our events draw big crowds. Valley View News reporter Timothy Whitfield shows us how downtown is coming alive.
Here on the corner of Spring and 4th, art takes to the streets. Artists line several corners of the downtown Los Angeles area for a portion of the LA Art Walk.
I want to check it out more, and I hope they keep doing sort of open painting festivals and things like that where artists can collaborate with each other, meet each other. It's great.
I like the atmosphere, how you could just walk into galleries and just like see the various artworks, and that makes me get inspired to paint more.
Everybody seems to enjoy looking at us, looking at folks painting in the street.
Many cultures, creeds, and people of all walks of life have gathered to express their own individual forms of art. These art showcases are giving many the opportunity to show off their talents.
The artworks that are in the Streetscapes show are definitely inspired by the visual excitement of downtown LA, and just the fun of what's called plein air painting, which is painting outdoors. As simple as that.
The art shows are open to the public, and spectators are welcomed to join in. The Art Walk started in 2004 with a small number of painters and has grown to include more than 40 galleries and museums. The downtown Los Angeles Art Walk occurs every second Thursday of the month. The Art Walk has something artsy for everyone. In downtown Los Angeles, I'm Timothy Whitfield, Valley View News.
NBC Universal has settled a class action lawsuit with former interns. About 9,000 unpaid interns will benefit from the $6.4 million settlement. Last year, unpaid interns working on Saturday Night Live filed the suit, claiming they were paid little or nothing for doing employees' work. NBC Universal denies any wrongdoing, but will pay the settlement. Researchers say Facebook is reaching nearly 1/5 of the people in the world. The Simple Reach company says nearly 1.3 billion people log onto the social network every month. Pew Research estimated 30% of adults are getting their news on Facebook. The social network keeps track of people's search history supplied by various companies. Facebook engineer Greg Mara says they are simply connecting people to content they might be interested in. Costco says it will be closed on Thanksgiving Day, while many other stores will be open to boost holiday sales. The company says its employees deserve to spend the holiday with their families. Other retailers such as Walmart and Target will open their Black Friday sales on Thanksgiving Day. Macy's will open its doors a little later at 6 in the evening on Thanksgiving. This is a way for companies to make out the most profit of their Black Friday sales. Gas prices continue to drop across the U.S. and have reached their lowest level in 4 years. The average price of gasoline dipped to $3.08 a gallon. In Los Angeles, the average price is a little higher at $3.39 a gallon. The Lundberg survey says San Francisco has the highest price for a gallon of regular at $3.45. I like that gas prices are going down, but it might mean that there will be more cars on the road, so I'm not sure how I feel about that. But that's all the business news. Back to you guys.
Thank you for watching this week's Valley View News. I'm Courtney Faust.
And I'm Mahina Haina. Have a good week.